welcome to Quirky Books with Katie. Today I'm going to be doing a video about popular books that are not worth their hype. I've been doing a bunch of videos surrounding books and hype lately, and I decided to do this one. Now, before I start, I wanted to say that it was a difficult decision for me to do this video. I was thinking about doing it for a while, and then I decided I wasn't gonna do it. And then I was talking to Lost Book Thoughts on one of my videos in the comments, and we were talking for a while, and I decided, oh, maybe I should do this video. Now, the reason I was hesitant to do it is because I am not a fan of a lot of popular books, and I always feel bad saying it because some of them are like people's favorite books, and they get upset when I say bad things about their books. So I don't like saying that, but I feel as a booktuber I should give you guys my honest opinion. So disclaimer before I start, if you love any of these books, then I apologize if you don't like what I have to say, but these are just my opinions and how I feel. I know that there's probably a ton of people out there that love these books, and if you do, then good for you. I just wasn't a fan. So the first one, we're going to start with not the worst for first, but the one I get the most criticism about not liking, and that is The Fault in Our Stars by John Green. Yes, you people are probably just like, what? She does not like The Fault in Our Stars? And I read it back in April or May. I believe my friend lent it to me, and she just kept saying, you have to read this, you have to read this. And you guys probably know what it's about by now. It's about these two kids that have cancer, and it's about their relationship. Now, everyone told me to read it. They're like, it's more than a cancer story. You're going to love this. You're going to love this. I was hesitant going in, and I was not a fan. I ended up giving the book a 2 out of 5 stars. Now, my reasons. I do have actual reasons for not liking it. Number one, I felt like the characters were too pretentious. Not a fan of pretentious characters or people that know it all in general. And I just felt like not a lot of normal teenagers really talk like that. Even smarter people don't really talk like that. And my other issue was I felt personally that I wasn't emotionally attached to the characters. Everyone knows that something bad happens in the end, and even when that happened, I felt like I didn't really give a crap. I know people are probably like, what? But that is just my opinion of that book. Now, if you guys want to go read it, then go ahead, because everyone loves it. I probably am going to end up seeing the movie that they're making. Next is Sweet Evil by Wendy Higgins. This is a type of fallen angel book. As you guys probably know, fallen angels have been going around in YA recently a lot, and I think I gave this book a 2 out of 5. Now, my issue with this book, when I started it, it was okay, but I just wasn't connected to a lot of the characters. The love interest was okay, but he was still, I don't know, I found him a little creepy. And then right towards the end, the author slams this love triangle in your face, and I was just like, whoa, where did that come from? And I just was not a fan. I like the main love interest, but I feel like if I just like one character in the book and I don't like the story or anything else, then that's an issue. And I just felt like the story itself, it basically is encouraging the main character to behave badly and do drugs. And I'm like, that is not good in any way, shape, or form. Next is The Maze Runner by James Dashner. I recently read this one. I gave this one a 3 out of 5 stars, and I liked this one. I didn't really know what to expect when I picked it up, and I didn't hate it. This is probably one of the books on this list that I enjoyed the most. But my issue with this book, it just wasn't my cup of tea. It wasn't something I would usually read. The language in the book was very weird. It takes a while to get used to. It's kind of like slang, and I just wasn't attached to any of the characters, really. Or I think I liked one of them. I can't remember who at this point in time. Next, we have Fallen by Lauren Kate. This is another angel book, and as you can see, I got it for $5. So that's the only reason I picked this up. This book is about fallen angels and incarnation, sort of, and I thought that the premise of the book was really interesting. Don't get me wrong. I just think that the way the author executed it wasn't very good. The love interest was made out to be a bit of a stalker, in my opinion. Both love interests, even. And it was just creepy. And I just felt like it had the reason I didn't like this book is I felt like it had such potential. And I ended up being really disappointed. And I gave that one a 2 out of 5 stars, too. I feel like that's the book that a lot of people, they either love it or hate it. There's a lot of both kinds of hype around that book. Next, I'm going to talk about On the Jellicoe Road by Melina Marchetta. Now, this book is by an Australian author, and ever since I've started BookTube, this book has been going around. Not a lot of people talk about it, but I feel like most people have read it, and I can't even remember what it's about. It's just a contemporary about this, like, group of 5 kids and kind of what happens later in the same town, and I just was not interested in the backstory. I couldn't get into the backstory, and then I felt like since I was lagging behind on that, I didn't really get into the actual story either. I was not into that one, and I felt like if I reread it, maybe I'd like it more, but there's so many books on my TBR, I'm probably not going to reread it. Next is Shiver by Maggie Stiefvater. This is a book about werewolves. Now, contrary to popular belief, there really aren't a majority of books about werewolves out in YA, or even if there are, they're not really that hyped about, and this one was disappointing. Now, this is probably the first YA book that centers around werewolves that I've read. I mean, I've read, like, Twilight and City of Bones, which kind of have werewolves in them, but this one's mainly about werewolves. My issue with this book was the main character, Grace. She was really, really annoying. Now, the love interest, Sam, was very interesting. He liked poetry, he liked to read. I was okay. He was cool. But Grace was just complaining all the freaking time. It's like, get your SHIT together, girl. And then, basically, she wants something to happen to her, and then throughout the series, when it actually does happen, then she doesn't want it to happen, and she complains. I'm like, what are you doing? Next is Die For Me by Amy Plum. Now, this is sort of a fallen angel-ish type book. Again, too, it is set in Paris. I actually gave this book a 1 out of 5 stars. Now, I do not give out many 1 stars. I think out of all of the books I've read this year, I've given out 3 or 4 1s. I just don't do it as much. I'm more likely to give out a 2. I only give a book a 1 if I really hate it. Now, my issue with this book was the writing. It was just, I felt like a 5-year-old wrote it. No offense to the author, but it was like a 5-year-old wrote it, and it was just not very good, and the plot was boring, and I felt like it was just a Twilight knockoff. And when a book is set in somewhere as amazing as Paris, I feel like the author should really take advantage of that. Like with Clockwork Angel by Cassandra Clare, that book's set in England. She really takes advantage of that and plays it in the story. This book was set in Paris, and all they did was go, like, visit a boat. Like, that's all they did. And last but not least is a book that has been really hyped on BookTube recently, and that is The Fifth Wave by Rick Yancey. I swear to God, I am the only person that I know that has not enjoyed this. This is a futuristic sci-fi about an alien invasion, so to say, and the aliens come in 5 different waves, and the book is about, of course, the 5th wave by the title. Now, I really like the main character, Cassie. Her storyline was pretty good. If it was only her storyline in the book, I probably would have given the book a 4 or a 5. That part was good. My issue was when it started switching point of views, and then we switched to a person named Zombie. You find out who he really is at the end, but my issue with Zombie is it just focused on the war aspect and the stuff with the aliens, and I was just, I'm not into, like, war books or what really goes on with war, so when that was going on, I was just like, yeah, get it over with, and I felt like the ending of this book was really disappointing, and I think I gave that 2 out of 5 stars. So let me know down below if you guys have had, like, the same issues that I had with any of these books, or if you like these books, then let me know why, because I mean, I understand why people like these books. It's not like I'm going around trying to trash them. They just weren't books that I personally enjoyed. So thank you guys for watching. Be sure to subscribe to my channel, and I will talk to you again soon.